Hello. I'm just getting everything sorted, so stream will start in a moment. How's your day? Oh, what are you planning on doing? Oh God, why is my Twitch connection so shit? No, it's not that. The hell? Why is Twitch saying that it's being weird? Huh? Okay. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna be back in just a. Okay, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, I'll be right back. Okay, there we go. Yep. Sorry about that. Freaking brain was slow, so I needed to take a minute to get everything set up. Um, ah. Oh, correct RPG. The correct category. But yeah, hey Koba, how you doing? I had to step away for a moment to deal with something. Ooh. Nah. Nice. Um. mm, mm, um, 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 Mm. Hmm. Um, Twitch seems to be complaining about the fact that I'm using a higher than normal bitrate. Yeah, it's too high. Okay, I guess let me knock my bitrate down on Twitch for a second, or at least do that for... Okay. It'll probably only drop next stream anyways, but YouTube seems happier with the higher bitrate, so that's nice, I guess. Um. Hmm. Sounds like fun. Um. um, huh? How did I name the Huma? Uh, that's the one. Okay. I do not know how I forgot about Huma, but sure, I guess. Um, is the stream at least like live? Okay, it is. Uh, mm, oh, right. Mm, cool. Has his so, this wait, what is surprised. Yeah. Oh, previous. Say previous. 4. Having. No, on my stream manager for Twitch, it's saying that my bitrate is too high. It's saying that, like, because it's too high, it's not working properly, but the Twitch stream is fine, so I'm just hoping that it's good. I okay. Yeah. But I think I fixed the issues with both Twitch and YouTube. I think they're both stable now. Um mm, um, having he asked, has he come to you wanted no motion Sunday. Um, hmm. Hmm. Um, hmm. Or, um, um, uh, I wanted to ask, oh, or, um, how your, triple, hey, Robot. Pretty decent. From what I can tell, this is working. Uh, so I'm I finished chapter I finished chapter 36. I'm starting chapter 37. And when I start 38, I'm releasing the new roller. So that's fun. Also had a massive scare day before yesterday, where my computer refused to turn on in the morning. That was that was scary. Hmm. How are things for you? You had some work stuff going on this week, right? Where you couldn't, uh, where you couldn't, drop by the stream very much. Yeah. Uh, yeah, I upped the bitrate for my stream last time, and it was it's apparently too high for Twitch to handle. I can try restarting the stream, but that could cause problems. So, yeah, today's stream might just be a little bit buggy. So yeah, apparently, 6,000 kilobit, stream quality is too high for Twitch, but YouTube likes 6,000 6,000 stream quality, say kilobit thing. So yeah, not sure what that's about. Recipes, yeah, basically what happened, as far as I can tell, is I tried switching to AV1 for a little while on YouTube, but it's not working properly. I don't know. From what I say, I don't know what's up with that. So I don't know, man. And yeah, I switched it back to say to H.264, and up the bitrate to 6,000, and now YouTube seems stable. But while I was switching YouTube to 6,000, I also upped Twitch to 6,000. And Twitch does not like that, apparently. It is very happy at 5,000. I can't wait until both YouTube and Twitch fix their AV1 nonsense, because good lords, AV1 is like just generally better. Pretty decent. Well, other than the scare I had on Wednesday with my computer not turning on in the morning. That was a bit terrifying. I thought I'd screwed over my computer. But after dismantling it and doing a couple of things, I did eventually get it turned back on properly. So ooh. Yeah. That was terrifying. Oh no, I didn't hit it. I just dismantled it, checked all of the voltages on the PSU. I ran the reset button a couple of times, and then it fixed itself. So I have no idea what's up with that. I was concerned that maybe it was a RAM thing, because I recently actually turned on XMP properly for my not XMP, Expo properly for my RAM. But no, my RAM is saying that it's still running at 6,000, so that doesn't seem to be the issue. I have no clue, honestly. Technically, I do have backup RAM, because I upgraded my RAM from 32 gigs to 64 gigs at one point. I actually tried to upgrade it to 128 gigs, but apparently that screws over your XMP or something. So at the time, honestly I should have kept it. I returned it. Like, this was like over a year ago. I should have kept it though. But yeah, my dreams of setting up a full server rack are still barely plausible for this year. But only because I have 32 gigs of DDR5. I mean, it's technically like Intel XMP RAM instead of AMD Expo RAM, but it is theoretically still good. I did use it for a while, and it was capable of running at least base DDR5 speeds. So I can hopefully in this year achieve my dream of having a silver rack with my own personal cloud. Yeah. I think I fixed everything. There were a couple of bugs. Especially in terms of the imports. The generator steps were being counted double, but it seems to have been fixed. But yeah. No, that's not it. That I fixed by redoing the whole march in JavaScript instead of doing WebAssembly. This is where I am right now. But yeah. This is the march properly. Reset up. And yeah. Hey 30, how you doing? My apologies if Twitch is a little bit weird today. I tried setting my bitrate too high apparently for Twitch. Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. The search stuff is working better now. I've changed it so it's no longer case sensitive. it's still a very, very basic search. It literally just searches based on, like, does this string exist in the name? It is literally barely better than Control F. Because, like, I can literally do Control F, put your... Like, I can do that, and it'll give me basically the same result as typing it in here. But it's just easier to navigate with that, so that's nice. Settings looks good. Everything is set up nicely so that the dangerous buttons are far away from where people are. Hold on, give me a second. I have no idea why this is not disabled. Oh wait, that might actually be a bug. Oh gods. Handle save upload. Good. Oh. Is the load, does the load save not? Of course it. So if I go here, or does that just look weird? I think it just might look weird. Okay, one sec. Oh wait, no. Is this disabled? This should be disabled. Why are you not disabled by default? There like some weird interaction with Dark Reader? Okay, that's good. Oh, nice. How would you have? Yep, looks good. Telepathic interface would have been so interesting because it's basically the Neuro Helms, just better in every single way. Yep. Was the perhaps is the it's, um uh uh mm, the are uh 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 well, oh, and since you enjoy that, hope you won't mind something. Mind out again. Oh, it's more that the stuff in the books doesn't. It's like how Newtonian physics is wrong when you take into account special relativity, right? Because Jun has a deep understanding of the Higgs field, they know more about how the universe works than the people who wrote the books. Also, because the Star League are assholes, and the Terran hegemony released fake knowledge into the universe. But mainly because of the fact they know more, right? The stuff the Terran hegemony released is like very subtle things that's hard to notice. But like the main thing that Jun was commenting on in that particular thing was the fact that they know the equivalent of special relativity when they're actually focused on let's say when everybody else is stuck with Newtonian physics. Also, that doesn't take into account their eldritch knowledge, by the way, which they do have some eldritch knowledge. Wait, yeah, well, you don't mind spoilers, but yeah, it's a little bit further along in the story. Yep. So I'm just kind of pushing for I'm just pushing for Chapter 37. Chapter 36 was the start of the war. This is like people were commenting on how Comstar would not let Jun keep screwing around forever. And yeah, it took them a few years, but they decided that hey, if assassinations aren't working, this needs to go to the big leagues. And well, I need someone. Go to the golden. Go to middle country and set up deal for the magical potatoes with Lord between with Lord Artois and you they've been the most promising so far. Or barring that, the wheat goes. The wheat is looking pretty decent. He nods. Can you say with so you say as a broad grin starts. Honestly, the big fuck off military lasers, big fuck off lasers, aren't the big problem, right? Because the ALATs are static emplacements. They're far more concerned about the cosmos and the Jex. Like, they're more concerned about the humanitarian stuff than they are about the military shit. Because the military shit will get used up and like destroyed. But like the Jex is a huge economic benefit. Like it might mean that there's enough economic growth to have the successor states actually like start recovering from all the succession wars. Cross. He glowered at you. He said, Robert's over here. As a temporary migrant from... Oh, hey, Twitch is stabilized. Twitch is stabilized. Nice. At least for a little while. It might be weird because it's still say my OBS is still reporting high bit rates, but No, Comstar is not trying to stop the apocalypse. Comstar wants the apocalypse. Comstar wants to be the people picking up the pieces after the apocalypse. They want to be like... They're basically saying, hey, once everything burns down, we can take over, rebuild everything as the sole source of everything good in the universe. The other story that I'm writing, it's a fanfic in a setting where there is like one of the factions is space, like is the basically like the internet provider, and they are secretly part of like a conspiracy to end all civilization, and yeah, end all civilization so that they can pick up the pieces. And mumbling something under her, under his the shit eating bread. Eating grin. That the what? You the shit eating grin. Because half of them are religious nutcases. Like there's the whole Blakist schism that happens in like things like 3050 or something is because there's like it's like kind of made obvious that there is like half of Comstar that like legitimately believes that Blake was a prophet and that they need to make his vision come true at all costs. And then the other half are just power hungry, right? So you have the religious nut jobs and then the power hungry nut jobs, but they're both nut jobs. Shit eating. I can't. I can't. Under. Shit. Eating. Plaster. Across. Honestly, like, the main thing with Comstar is that you really need to think of them as another successor state, right? They are secretly the successor state to the Terran like the successor state of the Terran hegemony, right? Because they are secretly in charge of all. Like, they rule Terra. They have they have a few worlds, and they have like basically all the tech. Problem is, yeah. There. Something in bird that you enjoyed. Something that you go ahead. Yeah, so you can. It will. It should. Nice to see. Like, it kind of needs to be for plot reasons, right? Like, in order for there to be eternal war, everybody needs to be war-hungry assholes. And there needs to be eternal war, because otherwise you don't have a tabletop setting. Honestly, everything got absolutely fucked over by that one guy, that one general. Hold on. Time, yeah, here's one. What the hell is his name? Yeah, James McKenna. This asshole is the start of everything. You know what this asshole did? You know what? Do you know why this guy is the reason for everything wrong in Battletech? This guy was the reason why this guy is the reason why Battletech claims why quote unquote democracy is a failed experiment in Battletech, right? So basically two things happen. The Terran Alliance expanded way too fast during Battletech, and B, the Terran Alliance got super corrupt, right? And as a result, things got really shit, and there was a lot of war, and this asshole decides that, hey, because the Terran Alliance is super corrupt, I'm going to implement a military dictatorship on Earth, aka the worst government, and we're going to claim that this is the most successful way to run a nation. And because the now most powerful place is a military dictatorship, everybody else takes this as a reason to become a military dictatorship. And this is why every successor state is a military dictatorship. Because of this asshole. Right? Because this asshole says that, hey, this is now a military dictatorship. They are the ruler of the Terran hegemony. So now we have everybody else. Yeah. It will be nice to show the long term between to remind everyone that we have unity. You see, Google and off with wave morning as they make way to they make their way. So yeah, like technically it's not all his fault because like the Terran Alliance before him. Yeah, but like basically, technically, the reason why he managed to get into power is because because the Terran Alliance was super corrupt, and that has like a whole history behind why it was super corrupt. But I mean that's the inherent problem with the hereditary rulership, right? Because hereditary rulers do not have to work for their power. Like the benefits of monarchy and like dictatorships is that theoretically if you have a good ruler, the centralization of power means that you have like much faster responses and like a much more streamlined form of government. The downside of the downside of those hereditary systems is that because there's no checks on who becomes that person, you're not guaranteed a good ruler, right? In theory, if you have a really good king, a monarchy can be way better than a democracy. Because you, in theory, have like one good person who's able to make all the decisions and they aren't being bogged down by the systems that are in place to control the negative, say the effects of like say control, like the checks and balances that exist in democracy. But those checks and balances means that democracies can't get as bad as yeah. So but yeah. Let me consider. They won't have evidence of the of Comstar backing the war. What they're going to have evidence for is the assassination attempts. But even that's going to be they're not really going to have a lot of evidence for that. They're going to have like psychic interrogations that nobody else is going to believe. But they're going to have information they trust that affects their own decision making in the near future, which will change a lot of things. But yeah. Oh yeah, you said you were okay with spoilers, right? Basically, some of the stuff that's gonna happen with the spoilers is that, as mentioned, the Pedro Ellingson cache is gonna be discovered, during the course of the war, right? Right now, the war is just kicking off in story, like in the part that I'm writing. Basically, after Bolin, Jun returns to Illyria, right? So returns to Lothario, and from Lothario they go to Illyria because they are looking to expand into space stuff. But like a big portion of all of this is for the last 2 years, Comstar and also like some other factors have been pushing the two nations next to Illyria, say the Illyrian Palatinate and the Lothian League, that is the Circinius Federation and the Marian Hegemony, I think is what they're called. I forget their name. I don't actually really care about them. They're not going to exist for a lot longer. But yeah, the Marian Hegemony. These guys have realized that, hey, these guys are like seeing a lot of growth, right? And like especially on Lothario and Illyria, their defenses are getting really good. And if their defenses continue to grow, they're kind of fucked. Because if at all they manage to sort out their defenses, like if at all they manage to sort out their so like manage to grow enough to like spread their defenses across this area of space, that's a lot of possible targets that they can't like effectively raid, right? And so they are being egged on by Comstar and also technically the Free Worlds League and also technically Loki in order to keep these guys, to try and like break up the centralized government here and destroy Vit to prevent the rise of these nations. And Comstar is like trying to arrange the breakout in hostilities so that it happens once Jun is back from Bolin. Once Jun is back from Bolin, and everything like comes to a head. Basically, the way Comstar like is delaying things is by like arranging deals with other powers to support it. So like their Circinians are getting backup from like pirate groups that are from over here. The Marians are getting support from other pirate groups. Are building up like their own support from the Free Worlds League, and they are all like building up their forces, which means that they're like getting a lot of military support, and that is going to flow into here, and it's going to be basically a massive war that will result in the destruction of the Lothian League and the Illyrian Palatinate, but because of Jun's defenses and the stuff around Vit, it's going to result in Vit essentially ending up being the de facto power in this region. Especially once they grow powerful enough to turn the tide and like actually start taking the fight to the Marians and their Circinians. And yeah. Hey Muffin. How are the streams? But yeah. What you have to do in the future. With winter fully on you, you are mostly certain that you do not have to worry about about nice. Some Genshin then? Yeah. Basically, the war is gonna go something like this, right? I mean, it's kind of been hinted at. I'm not sure if it's the last chapter that got posted, or a chapter that's about to be that's going to be posted next week. Yeah, it is the chapter that's going to be posted next week. But basically, there's like evidence. There's some information about like how the pirate nations are gearing up for building up strategies for dealing with stuff, and it focuses a lot on trying to limit the support Vit can call on, right? Unfortunately, Jun has the same stuff next chapter is also going to show like Jun growing more paranoid about the pirate aggression. So yeah. I mean, they already know about the Alax, right? Like they're that's like part of the reason why they're doing this full-scale war is because they have seen the deployment of Alax on Lothario, and they have realized that, hey, if we let them build up these defenses and buy more Alax and like build out these structures, we're not going to be able to do anything. Because all of a sudden, these people will have like defenses that will make raiding them unprofitable. So like that is how Comstar is like manipulating, right? Because they are inciting the sort of fear that, hey, these got the defense, the tech that's coming out of it is making it seriously possible that that these people will have they will be too hard of a target in the near future. So yeah, basically, like, my personal, like, the way that I am justifying the weird military numbers of BattleTech is that most planets aren't allowed is that, like, building up infrastructure is really hard, right? Without infrastructure already on the planet, a lot of your ability to build up infrastructure is, like, seriously limited by your jump transport capacity. And with jump ships being super limited, it's, like, really, really difficult to build up industry. So yeah, and, like, so everything is kind of limited to the places that have it, and, like, if you wanted to try and build up industry, you're taking up military logistical throughput. And yeah, long-term investments are not safe because they take away from your short-term investment in defense. And that's kind of like the reason why. Basically, I'm getting around that with Jun having a lot of the means of building up industry locally. Oh. Oh, nice. Yeah. Are you enjoying the lore? With the rainy clip on about oh. No, I don't. With the rainy season fully upon you, mostly suddenly you don't need to. Melee action from about any offensive actions from the offense. But now is is these for S. I mean, it was a holiday, so I could just pretty much do nothing but read for the whole day. And it was like, and it was a reread, right? It wasn't my first time reading those. But it is the season. Outside of that, you have, say, please follow. Start, build. Yes. What's the problem with lore? But yeah, the reveal of liquid light and especially the barrier generators are going to be huge, right? And that's going to be like a massive thing that happens, is that during this war, Jun is going to be forced to reveal the existence of barrier generator technology. And that's going to change so much. Because, like, they never went back to it and, like, voiced those lines after the fact. Yeah. There are no, there's a... Well, that sucks. But yeah, the force fields are... so the force fields are going to be, like, a huge thing. And, like, Comstar is going to keep the news of the force field, like, is going to contain the news of the force fields, right? They're going to be doing their best to, like, prevent that from spreading, because otherwise the successor states are going to start wanting to back Jun. And if Jun is proliferating barrier generator technology, that changes a lot of things. Because, like, Comstar, yeah. But yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that happens in this. Yeah, so things will eventually spread, but at least during the say for a while, say the news will spread slowly, and, like, information is going to be information is going to start oh yeah. Then there's the in the reagent department for your deals, your as well as following on the not mentioned as not to mention the possible already. Not mentioned for on the But yeah, jump ships and stuff will still be traveling, the news will slowly spread, and it is going to change a lot of things, right? There's going to be a lot of actions being taken to limit it, but also that's one of the big things that's going to happen from Katrina eventually passing through. No. What's a good name for this? Remember. Yeah. Nope. Well, I can promise you that I would not say that. What did it even sound? Oh, not that difficult. Wait, when did I say that? Okay, good night. Oh, it's when I was saying remember to get your votes in. That's the only thing that like makes a modicum of sense. Sorry for the flashbang. Freaking. Ignore all. Ignore all. All. Ignore all. All. Ignore all. Back. Ignore. Save. It's going to be. I did the last one like Friday. I did the last one New Year's, which was Thursday, so I'll probably just do it every Friday. So the next one will be on the 16th. Basically, the idea is I want to write 2 chapters a week.
until I build up to until I build up enough of a backlog, and then yeah, I think that's basically what I'm gonna be. The next chapter. So I'm gonna be posting the next chapter of marching across the inner sphere. But yeah, basically, I want to get about 30 chapters done. I want to get about 30 chapters ahead. So that I have enough for a year plus double posts for special occasions. I'm gonna be back in just a moment. Need to get some fluids.
Just a moment. Sorry, taking a minute. Sorry about that. Let's get to the right. This was 24th to 20. Let's pick. As the new pack of as the new over the next few as refugees started to filter into perhaps as the refugees started filter into the clear picture started. And it wasn't nice. Over the last 4 days, nearly 20. Over the last since the attack invasion attempted on the beachhead. Oh wait. Um, but yeah. Um, since uh, uh, hmm, hmm, uh, uh, let's see. Theater has it more than a dozen. Uh, hmm, many most which saw at least one mech during during the uh, but in truth they weren't the that was the dozens of um parts dragged various black black various black black ACs, black auto cannons. Firing poisons? You mean firing positions? Perhaps. And every town, any attempt at any attempt by the by the defenders to deploy ASF in defense of the planet had been met by uh, several black auto in- taking aim at the taking aim at the incoming crop as they tried close into me to firing. Real. Only a couple of the towns only a few of the towns had been able to repel the invaders. Only one of the towns had been able to repel the invaders. And only a couple had been able to be reached after they fell. had been able to. The refuge. What was found in what was found in those towns had the um, refugee. When they had shared that the invaders were taking running down groups of people, and instead them forcing them back. And forcing them back into the the capture. No one had been really. Okay, so no one had been really willing. But yeah, I've had to. Oh, that reminds me. I need to put the trigger warning in. Oh, wait, no, I forgot. That's not in the. I actually have a better way of laying this out.
A couple of ones. So not like major tech stuff, but so that one didn't happen. But and they got logistics and forestry, which were both quite interesting. Logistics is a big one because it's going to have a major impact on the growth of the Victus Coalition, because this is going to help Jun identify the best way to make seed, like colony seeds, i.e. like because like the main limitation of a lot of BattleTech stuff is in the logistics, right? So Jun is going to be able to like optimize some of the colony packages they built for, yeah, and this is one of the big ones, right? Jun got Altered Existence, which is very difficult for. This was really unfortunate, right? But this is a big one because Altered Existence is the Altered Existence is BattleTech, so is effectively Jun's oh shit button. But yeah, yep. Perfect. Huh? I'll have to fix that. But yeah, the thing about this is Jun's oh shit button, where Jun can, if it like in the future, if it comes to it, just release Eldritch Abominations upon their foes. I'm not sure if it will ever like actually happen in the story, but people were already, but the town, the free towns had fields. The leaders seem to have brought along a plenty supply of dollars, with many of explosive, and the remote capable of anyone in anyone of setting off at reported or the fellow when being driven out of the reclaim to a certain extent, but it's more about like delivering stuff, right? So one of the things is, like, for example, if Jun is talking about if like there's the colony pack, right? Where Jun, once the Victus coalition is a thing, Jun will want to like rapidly upskill the people and start moving towards improved automation and stuff, while still like keeping the limitation, say, while still managing the limitations of like jump ship travel in BattleTech. And a lot of the way Jun is going to be doing that is by optimizing the exact tech that they are building. So it's not like Jun is making better tech. It's more that Jun is finding the correct problems to solve. Yeah. So when Jun starts building up when Jun starts building up the colonies, like part of the things is like they're identifying key infrastructure that needs to be transported so that the locals can start building up infrastructure locally, right? So over the course of the like between the end of the war and like between the formation of the Victus coalition and like their and like the official second arc of the story, when we move away from when we start moving into Jun as the leader of the Victus coalition and dealing with the inner sphere at large, we're going to see like a lot of growth in a lot of the smaller places, right? They're no longer going to be as dependent on external support. They're going to have a lot of local arms and armor production. They're going to have a lot of tools and stuff because Jun is going to be sending along optimized educational materials as well as all the tools to build the tools so that they can rapidly build up infrastructure. They're going to be sending along like mining equipment and all that stuff. Or not mining equipment, but stuff to make mining equipment really easily. So they are optimizing the logistics of setting up a colony by identifying where the actual problems are. No, not even that, right? What Jun is focusing on is not so much orbital factories that can be fitted into a jump collar. It's more like, oh, Jun is sending along carefully designed automated factories that can rapidly process ore into vehicles and into um, rebar, and they can rapidly process limestone and other materials into building materials, all that kind of thing. It's how to it's how to rapidly start up local mining operations and set up like build out roads that are like viable and all that kind of thing. So it's more about giving the local, say, building out the tools so that instead of taking 100 years to get up to reasonable levels of infrastructure, they can finish it. Instead of taking like decades to do it, it's only a few years to get to the point of there's enough local production to sustain the majority of like basic tech on the planet.
Reportedly, when being driven out of the 16 towns. Um. Because like they're still kind of limited on jump, right? There is some stuff, like for example, I am planning on having the Pedro Ellingson cache to have a lot of jump, say a lot of KF theory, right? So it's going to have the required knowledge to design jump drives and also what do you call it? HPGs. So that's going to be a huge thing where this is going to have a lot of, it's not going to have the final implementations, but it's going to have the knowledge that leads to that kind of. And it's going to allow Jun to eventually create the first new jump ship yards in the inner sphere in hundreds of years. Reportedly when being driven out. And do you want to guess where they're building those yards? Reported. The invading party had been so yeah, Jun would be like optimizing stuff in terms of how to quickly build up local agriculture, right? So exactly how that happens will depend. I might actually have Jun do some Eldritch stuff with that, but I don't know yet. It depends on some of the roles that'll happen, right? But Jun does have farming and yeah, Jun has ranching, and they also have forestry, so they might be able to do some stuff on that end. They also have bioculturing, which is really good for fermented stuff. So depending on how things go, they might do like a sort of starter Soylent Green kind of things. Like not like Soylent Green as in people, as in the Yep, it's going to be in orbit around Melpomene. They're gonna go back after the war. They will return to. They will be returning to their home system. We're gonna see more of the Derven family. We're gonna meet Sharad again. We're gonna bring a lot of that stuff back. We're also going to see Jun being a lot more open with their powers, right? Like they trust at least their family and like a few of their friends from Melpomene enough to do stuff like use their duplication power on the jump yards, right? So they only have to build one, and then they have 5 jump ship yards that are like capable of building jump ships. And the first jump ship yard that is being built
so the first jump ship that's built out of those yards gets duplicated into 5 jump ships, which means that when they return from Melpomene after I think it's about a year and a half after they leave, they return with a fleet of 5 decent jump ships along with them. So it's going to be like a huge thing that Jun has all of this tech. The Victus Coalition is going to be they're not going to be on the same level as a successor state because they haven't had the time to build up. I'm playing the successor states as I'm fiddling with like the scale of battle tech, and it would still take Jun decades to build up to the scale of a successor state. But when Jun returns from the deep periphery with 5 jump ships and theoretically more on the way. Actually, it wouldn't be 5. It would be 9, wouldn't it? No. Jun still has to work on the ship that's being duplicated. So Jun would return with 9. Because 4 shipyards without Jun make 1 each, and then the one Jun is working on will make 5. So Jun returns from the deep periphery with 9 jump ships, which is like, I think it's still not. I think combined with the jump ships that they capture from the Circinians and the Marians, they will have the most jump ships out of any periphery state. So yeah, that would be a massive win. And like combined with the Jax technology, it means that they aren't nearly as dependent on Comstar, especially because Comstar is going to put them under massive interdiction due to a mistake near the end of the war, where when the Pedro Ellingston cache is found and the newly formed and Jun goes to investigate it to try and find some way of getting the upper hand over the Marians and the Circinians. The Comstar agent with them is going to try and destroy the Ellingston cache, which is how Jun finds out about this. Right? They're using their psionic abilities to detect that the Comstar agent is trying to screw them over. They're able to stop them and then use their psionic abilities to take their memories out of their head to find out what's happening. And that's how Jun finds out about Comstar. And that event is how Jun that event and the complications that follow, Comstar uses as an excuse to put the Victus Coalition under interdiction. Because Jun refuses to say Jun. Actually, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But basically, it's implied that but yeah, there's at some point interdiction, and yeah. Yeah, they will have a massive jump ship density, and also because they have they have quite a lot of production, right? Basically, I'm saying that hey, it takes about 6 months to a year to produce a jump ship. To produce a jump ship, Jun Jun still doesn't have the same production capability as the successor states because they still are able to make something they're still able to make 100 or so jump ships a year, each of them. But Jun is able to create is able to create 5 a year with the yards on yards over Melpomene. But the thing about the yards over Melpomene is that they are using the jump ship designs that Jun comes up with, which are better than the Star League jump ship because they are. So Jun is using the Mega Machines perk to scale up designs to make them more efficient. They still can't make compact KF cores, but they can make like monolith class vessels that are able to transport like 8 dropships at once. So they have a lot of shipping capacity.
Invading parties have were the forces that left. Invader over. And have well,
Yep. So big say big like by the time that Katrina comes through the Victus Coalition's space, she's going to see those improved jump ships, and that is like a huge thing, right? Especially since the Victus Coalition shares a border with the Lyran Commonwealth. She is going to realize that, yeah, we can't afford to not take the Victus Coalition seriously because, and part of that is that when she does make her peace offer in 3020, they don't they don't offer peace to the Victus Coalition, but during the signing of the alliance in 3022, Jun is invited as an observer, and that's a huge thing, right? The because Jun is being invited to that, the Lyran Commonwealth is basically saying these guys are important. We are trying to build a good relationship with the Victus Coalition, and that is a huge deal, especially since the Victus Coalition is like a huge player. And the Free Worlds League is not happy about it because they have like half of their periphery boundary. The other half is Canopus. And Canopus and the Victus Coalition are having have strong diplomatic relations. So the Free Worlds League is not happy about the existence of the Victus Coalition. I mean, the Free Worlds League is Civil War Central, so there are parties within the but yeah, there are parties in the Free Worlds League who do like the Victus Coalition, especially keep forgetting what the subdivision of the how they're subdivided, but like one of the marches around here is so one of the like not like one of the commonalities, was it duchy, whatever, they're the group over here, not the Andurians, the other people. They're more happy about the victims because they have Ample or something. Is rim I think it's the rim commonality. Nope. What is it? Free world. Yeah. Yeah, the rim commonality, I believe, is the group. Hello, Elion. How are you doing? Elion. I am currently working on some. Where? I do not see. I do not see an innuendo. Oh, are you talking about this, the bowl and thumb? No, that's the bowl and thumb. They call it the thumb in BattleTech. Yes, I know what it looks like. But yeah, it is technically considered the thumb. But yeah, I'm currently working on the war era. Good to hear. How's the stream quality, by the way? Twitch was complaining about it earlier, but it looks like it's stabilized. Retreating invaders are far larger. That's good to hear. Local converted the situation in space was because they needed to replace not all of their planets, right? Each successor state can make like 1 to 200 jump ships in total. Or something like that. And while they have a lot of jump ships, the number of jump ships... So the way that I'm explaining jump ships in the setting is that jump ships are designed to last about 150 years, right? Past that point, the likelihood of like a missed jump or just a general failure in the ship is a lot higher, right? So a lot of the jump ships in existence are like old jump ships, and as they approach that 150-year mark, the successor states sell those jump ships on to private holders, right? Or they sell those jump ships to private holders, or like whatever else. They start to leave the force, and basically all of their production is replacing jump ships that are going away. So while they might have 15,000 jump ships each, like in their whole fleet, they even if they have 15,000 jump ships across the whole of their jump ship fleet, it's not it's all getting replaced over the course of the year of production that they have. And because of that, you have to remember that each successor state, if you look at this, they have a lot of worlds. These are not all of the worlds. These are the worlds that have been mentioned in a Battletech property, right? Supposedly, if you look up something like if you look up the Lyran Commonwealth, it'll say world control oh god, inner yeah, so there's supposedly about 2,000 inhabited systems in the inner sphere. So that's unfortunate, but yeah. So there's supposedly 2,000 inhabited systems, planets in the inner sphere. I'm adjusting that slightly, but the idea is that there's about 1,500 planets across the five successor states, right? Cyan has the least. Say the Capellans have the least. They have about 200 of those 1,500. 1,500. Well, they have about 300 of the 1,500, right? Which leaves like 1,200 split across. No, they have about 200. Say they have like. Anyways, point is, they have less than the others. The Lyrans have like 400 to their name. 400 or 400. No. Whatever. Point is, they have a lot of systems. If you consider that, if you consider the jump ship traffic, they need to replace their ships a lot. That's basically how it goes. And even then, like if you max out the load on the jump ships and drop ships combined, since most of their jump ships have to spend so if you think about it, each jump ship can make a maximum of about 26 jumps a year, right? Ignoring the jets and stuff that Jun is introducing, ignoring that, each jump ship can make about 26 jumps a year. So if you wanted to visit all 300 to 400 planets in the Lyran Commonwealth, and this is of course assuming that like the planets are directly accessible to each other, right? You would need to spend. So if we take the 300 known systems, divide that by 26. You have about like just for one jump ship to visit all the planets in the Lyran Commonwealth, it would take about 11 years, right? And that's like 11 and a half years. That's a conservative estimate, right? So if we multiply this by, so if we say that, hey, they have a fleet of 1,500. So if we, if we divide this by 1,500, we get about 130 jump ships worth of cargo that could theoretically be transported between any two systems over the course of a year. Theoretically, 130. Yeah. So point is, you're still heavily limited by jump ship cargo capacities, yada yada yada. Battletech, say it's not being used perfectly efficiently, and not all of them are like overlords with like four haulers worth of transport capacity, right? So if I look up a merchant, which is the jump ship class, and if I look up the overlord, or invader, that's right. So an invader has a dropship capacity of 3, and a merchant has a dropship capacity of 2. These are the two most common jump ships in the setting, right? So theoretically, the entire production of jump ships in the inner sphere is something like 100, 1,200. I don't know. I haven't figured it out precisely. Point is, Jun's ability to make 5 jump ships a year in Melpomene is a massive benefit to their economy. Because even selling one export version jump ship is like a huge influx of money. And even if they... And that's assuming they sell them, right? Most likely, what Jun would be doing is leasing those jump ships to other nations, right? Be those other periphery states or to even the successor state. So that would be like a massive amount of income for the Victus Coalition in the early days, and also a means by which they can bring in more population, because that is going to be the limiting factor on how quickly the Victus Coalition can grow. Right? Jun will be doing some theoretically not particularly... Anyways, but yeah, Jun will be doing some stuff to try and improve all of that. The situation in space wasn't great. While, like, even as the dropship were making their transit to the
dropping off. Even wait. Get more. At you first building up forces, but clearly effective stuff. So, so successor states, they are making about 1 to 200 per year. Unfortunately, actually, would it be 1 to 200? I think it might be total. They're making they're making about 200 across all 5, which is still more than Jun can make. But right, Jun only has the resources. Well, Jun technically only has the resources to make 1 jump ship. So the thing is, Jun isn't making merchants. What Jun is making is the is making something much more similar to the Leviathan class jump, right? Which has 8 dropship collars. It might be 9. I haven't decided yet. Like, it will heavily, like, I haven't done the math on properly done the math on jump ships in this version of the setting, but Jun's jump ships are significantly larger, even without the systems to make use of even without the systems to make use of like fast charging and all of that. Jun is, yeah, like even without Jun's tech, like for like barrier generators and all of that, like an export, it would probably be called like the Victory class jump ship or something like that. So even without Jun's modification. Oh no, the problem with the jump ships and cargo is that they have the problem with jump ships and cargo is that jump ships need to have like 95% of their volume be their jump cores. But Jun does have a solution, right? Jun is let's say one of the big things with the Victory class. So there's going to be 2 classes of jump ships that Jun is designing, right? There's the Victory class traditional jump ship, which has 8 or 9 dropship collars. It's kind of reminiscent of a Leviathan, that kind of thing. But then the it'll probably be something like the I'll have to figure out a good name for it. And probably something that'll be a weird backronym as well. But that class of jump ship will have quote-unquote integrated dropships, where they use KF boom technology to create bays in the jump ship that are designed to they have bays in the jump ship that are designed to have like the carrying capacity that would normally be allocated to a dropship, but without all of the guts of a dropship, right? Because all of the systems in the Victus Coalition will have ISAPs and other like in-system runabouts to move stuff around the system and do stuff like asteroid mining and all that stuff. So, yeah.
And like the asteroid mining is actually going to be very interesting because Jun is going to be using a very specific form of asteroid mining, which is going to be really fun to write about. Which is Jun is using solar processing asteroid mines, where it basically works by using say picking out an asteroid, launching it on a close approach to the sun, using the star's light to melt the metal, but also spinning it in such a way that the the material composition of the asteroid stratifies, and then by the time then once it completes its like completes its cometary orbit, it will be on an intercept trajectory with the planet. So after about 2 years, so after about a year or like 2 years or whatever, the asteroid will arrive near the planet already mostly processed and ready for use. So that's going to be an interesting thing that Jin is doing with logistics, right? It's not like a thing they're making, but it is like a logistical technique that makes super efficient asteroid mining. Pick up several and fusion torches or let's say torches or other options to be suggesting that the individual had also some serious but they had. Yep, and like that's one of the so yeah. And the other thing about it is Jun is going to be doing a little bit of pre-processing by embedding chunks of ice inside the asteroid, which causes them to inflate when they pass near the sun into like into hollow structures, which can be used as like temporary space stations that are really easy to mine. But yeah, basically, so once it arrives in orbit around the planet, they have ice apps locally that help them mine it. It gives them more orbital infrastructure. By this point, Jun is able to deploy orbital semiconductor factories that are like doing a lot of production there. The semiconductor factories are feeding into like automation on the ground. They're building out, let's say there's a lot of automated farming at this point. And yeah, like there is a massive industrial revolution on across the entirety of the Victus Coalition, as Jun just does their damnedest to grow the to get the system to what they consider to be a reasonable level of living. As you might have guessed, Jun has a very different opinion of what constitutes a reasonable level of living as compared to most of the other successor states. Because to Jun, they want, at the very least, something comparable to Melpomene. Or Melpomene, or whatever the hell I called it. And yeah. No, the thing is, it's not so much that the thing is, this process doesn't operate on the idea of, hey, we can process as many asteroids as we want. What the real benefit of the system is that you launch the asteroid. The asteroid goes into this orbit around the sun. It's going to arrive in planetary orbit in time for capture in a year and a half's time. We can send another one and keep going, right? By the time the first asteroid shows up at the planet has had enough time to build up local infrastructure for asteroid processing, right? Like for making use of those metals and everything. But the next asteroid doesn't have to arrive like a year or 18 months later. It can arrive the next month or whenever it's ready, right? So Jun can just use the sun for unlimited throughput. And yeah. And it's really, really efficient. Like, it's not perfect because it doesn't process everything. It just processes stuff that can be melted down and like stratified through centrifugal processing. But for metals and like silicates, it's perfect. So it's really good for bootstrapping the economy. And then after they've got that and they're using it to build up like local orbital so the goal Jun has is that every planet in the Victus Coalition has to have like a major like a full no-clad coverage and core TOM deployment and everything. And yeah, Jun is going to be like massively capable. So like Jun is going to be basically like Comstar but without the secrecy, right? Because everyone else is going to know about the fact that everyone else knows by the time that like Katrina goes through there in 3005. All of this has already started. Hey Frank, how you doing? But yeah, I have finished chapter 36 and I'm working on 37, and we were just talking about some stuff regarding the long-term development of the stuff that happens in like things like chapter 45 on or something like that. The war is expected to take. Yeah, nice. But yeah, the war that's currently happening in 36 on is expected to end in like the early to mid 40s. And then after that is the growth of the Victon Coalition, which is going to be a lot of fun. Jun Grimace, that's some information from their look. Apparently, there were fears that the second wave, that wave didn't. He had the had reached out. Grimace. Any news from Lotharia? Yep. And so yeah, so these systems get built up pretty quickly, and Jun's basic idea is to like go all in on like say basically go on a full uplift, focusing on like guild labor and kind of things. A lot of like algal. I'll say yeah. So, yeah, schools and colleges. Basically, Jun's going to be like building out a lot of. Is going to be setting up like, basically online colleges via note pewters and that kind of thing for the people there. And yeah, and the idea is okay, since we're automating a lot of like agriculture and stuff, we don't need to worry about, say, we need to focus on getting the people to like to build up our technical workforce, because like because like this whole like Jun is building up, but the war, like the conflict like while the war has ended, that hasn't stopped like the Free Worlds League and Comstar from still trying to fuck things over, right? So both of them are sponsoring pirates at this stage, because like with the reveal of barrier generators, Comstar does not feel comfortable doing a full invasion with their battleship, right? Because they were expecting Jun and Vit to be destroyed by the war against the Circinians and the Marians. But even when the Lothian League and the Palatinate are destroyed, Vit still survives and in fact grows even more powerful. And yeah, there's a lot going on there. Okay, hold on. 1 second. I'm gonna be right back. Yeah, but yeah, Jun is focusing on getting a lot of like high. Oh, I'm assuming that you mean pirate groups. That got censored, by the way. Um, but yeah, there are a lot of other pirate groups. Like, if we look over here, there is still a lot of periphery states, and then there's of course the Tortuga dominions. They're very far away, right? But that doesn't mean that they aren't still like sponsoring other pirate groups and all that stuff. Yeah. Not to mention the Free Worlds League are backing some. Um, and yeah. Um, so Jun's jump ships will have integrated technology that allows for faster charging. Um, Actually, I don't think they will, right? Because they will have that faster charging technology built into the station because they need to exist anyways, and that centralizes the costs, and it frees up more. It frees up more cargo capacity between the jump ships and the drop ships. Well, the integrated drop ship. Yeah. So basically, we have the Victory class ones that are the quote-unquote export class ships. Those don't have barrier generators. They don't have integrated drop ships. They don't. They obviously they have like the ability to accept fast charges from ejects, but they don't. They're otherwise normal. The big thing that they're really good at is that they have like 8 or 9. They are basically the equivalent of like a monolith, and they have a lot of cargo capacity. And this is the thing that they say that they use as bargaining chips while dealing with other interstellar nations. Their internal ships are the I still have no idea what to call them. Maybe Victory in a different language. What's finish? Say, translate. Let's try finish. Good. Victory, and let's try maybe finish Swedish. Where's Swedish? Yeah. What about Dutch? Because this would be built around Melpomene, and they have a super mixed one, but Jun's personally kind of Dutch. The Danish. Oh, that is great, right? Because that can be something like um uh I don't know, it's got like it's short. Yeah, I don't know. Figure out something. What's the other one? Finish fish. Uh, Norwegian. Jun is far more likely to do high-powered fighters instead of jump ships. Like basically have a carrier doctrine. Where like using L2 technology and that kind of thing, Jun creates like, because barrier generators make them so much more durable than uh so much more durable than most craft in the inner sphere. They can get away with just having they can get away with just having fighters in that role. Yeah. Wasn't Detroit in the Magistracy of Canopus? Oh no, they become a thing, a Canopus later. Not yet. So that's not a factor of Jun's jump ship. That's a factor of Jun's logistics. Because the reason why pirate points are dangerous is that they're super hard to calculate. Right? And you need very precise calculation to get into a pirate point, because pirate points are the result of all of the gravitational fields are affecting a patch of space inside the jump limit, canceling out and creating a safe region to jump to, right? That's why the Lagrange points are considered safe, considered a safe place to jump. The thing is, for most places, the calculations needed to figure out the precise position would take days, because you need to get the precise distances between the stars. You need to get the comparative angle between the star and the planets and your position and all of that stuff to figure out where exactly the Lagrange points are to then jump into them, right? So even the Lagrange points, which are considered to be the most stable jump points after the Zenith and Nadir, they are what do you call it? Very few systems have them mapped. But because Jun is managing the logistics of the Victus Coalition very well, Jun's ships can jump from Lagrange, from what would normally be considered pirate point to pirate point. because Jun is like tracking and updating and like communicating the like all of the mapping between their different systems so that everything stays super up to date and they have like a minimal chance of running into all of those difficulties. Because Jun is like getting away with like Jun is like doing all of the logistical like uh like or doing all of the logistical overhead to make it all possible, which is another thing that massively improves Yep, and that's like part of the logistics, right? So when a jump ship transitions from transitions into a Victus system, it is bringing along cartographic data of the other system from that other thing. Also, Jun will eventually crack HPG. Well, the theory, say the papers that underlie HPG theory, are available to Jun, right? So they are eventually going to crack HPGs. So that's that will eventually replace this, but until then, when a jump ship transitions from one Victus Coalition system to another, it brings along information like the stellar cartography of the of the other systems relative like about the other systems, and then that helps do all of the calculations for how those different how the pirate points are developing. And yeah, which means that like oddly enough, uh the limitations on say this doesn't significantly improve logistics for this doesn't significantly improve like full overall throughput because like at that point, once you're already once you're jumping in like from pirate point to pirate point, the problem then becomes the fact that once you're at the pirate points, we'll say once you're at the pirate points, your ship, like the time it takes for your drop ships or like your like commerce and stuff to complete is now once again limited by your jump ships for recharge time, which even when like adapting lithium fusion technology to allow for a 36-hour turnaround time, it still means you spend more time charging your jump ship batteries, so your jump core for the next jump, than you do handling the logistics between your commerce stations and all of that stuff. But yeah, the Victus Coalition systems are like massively capable. Not yet. Well, not other than confirmation. Yeah. Well, it does. Okay, no worries.
Notice. Environment. That's it does seem that as though the administrator did not not beyond the Grand Master. Blowing off our concern that inflation area. Seems to be say what even the have been given how to evacuating but they just use banking you think we're going to they're trying let our contact on the cruise just that they evacuate during So how to increase arrival, but there doing he offered, but the station crews are being instructed to evacuate. Our best, but that's seems like he is just planning on evac. You can't be serious. That's what we able to confirmed. The commander's best guess is that she's trying to avoid damage being to the or any of to hopefully recover once the recover more quickly if they are able to drive. More quickly if they're able to drive off the in the if they if let the then then the invasion meant that's our but Hmm. We don't really the decide to have the full. Player. We to X what happening and to try and adapt the local market. Um, there. And we. Oh, what happened? I get our. Hmm. Uh, uh, um, hmm. Yeah, what happened? Uh, uh, no, not without. I know. Uh, all of. I. Okay. I mean, the thing, I guess. So, okay, so what's the thing that looks the same? Let's start with the point you were trying to make. Uh, not with that. Uh, okay. Yeah. What's the line? Hmm. Uh,
So the difference here, it seems, is obfuscate data gives you allows you to hide a message where uh, the obfuscate data allows you to hide a message that says camouflage, and that means that people can't get any information out of it. Um, uh, any information out of it, so long as they don't beat the disguise status, right? But semantic shift seems to be about adding in a limited hidden meaning, right? That's maybe only perceptible to certain people, perhaps? Not entirely clear. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Uh, okay, I'm gonna wrap up. My brain can't figure out how to continue this section. Like, I know what's going to happen here, right? This is the chapter of things getting worse, where I'm writing the uh like the beginning of proper conflict on Illyria, and the uh beginning of the invasion on Lotharia. But my brain isn't letting me think straight, so yeah. Yeah, cheers. I'm going to get some rest. Bye.